We are live.
We are live and welcome everybody to another exciting episode of the podcast of the Risk Raiders. We are glad to be here with you today. And as usual, we want to remind you that we hope to entertain you, give you a little bit of information. But look, we're just two seasoned old insurance guys, but we're not your insurance guy, which means that if we talk about insurance, you just need to listen, but you need to call your own insurance agent or your own attorney or your own accountant to get their professional advice for anything we talk about here, because we are not that guy for you. But we hope to entertain you a little bit and teach you something here. I am Jeff Shropshire. That is my partner in crime over there, Brent Borgstedte. How you doing, Mr. Borgstedte?
I am very, very good. And as you well know, I am fixing to board a plane first thing in the morning and come visit you and see the BYU Texas Tech game.
It is going to be fun. Good luck through TSA. I hope they've forgotten a lot of your history. Take your apology letter.
I'm very concerned about going to the airport in the morning. I've got an early flight, so I'm hoping that maybe before the rush and I won't have a problem, but I'm very concerned about getting through.
No.
Because the FAA said they were slowing traffic at some of the major airports, and I thought, oh, it's already slow. What does that mean?
Crazy. It's crazy. Well, listen, we're fired up that you're coming. I hope you're fired up about being here. We're going to have a great time. And speaking of fire, we thought that today on this podcast episode, we wanted to give our homeowners out there a little bit of some suggestions because here in Lubbock, I'm noticing that we're having a few more house fires. We're having some commercial fires as well. Nothing tied to wildfires. It's just stuff poofing up into flames. Fire's dangerous. Fire's very costly. It's a very simple. A lot of people will get injured when there's a house fire. And so today, Brent and I wanted to bring some suggestions to you. Sometimes I think, we've kind of forgotten about some home safety tips. We've been focused a lot on weather here, about tornado tips and hurricane warnings. But but fires and those sorts of things happen on a regular basis. And the great thing about a fire exposure is a lot of it can be mitigated.
Yes.
Yeah, with just some simple things that don't cost you any money. But we want to remind you today of some things that we'd like you to do because holiday seasons are coming up anyway. And we're going to kind of break it down into, let's do 4 areas, Brent. Let's do the kitchen. Let's talk about some general electric situations. We'll talk about outdoors and then, of course, your holiday lights. So take us through some tips, Brent, for kitchen safety. What are you seeing with fires there?
I think what you have to remember too, you're coming up on holiday season, so you're going to be doing things you don't normally do. Like when you have everybody over Thanksgiving, you're going to be cooking, and like a lot of times I even use my little toaster oven. We'll have 3 ovens going and toaster oven going. You got something in there, maybe it's a little too big, and it's easy to start a fire in the kitchen because you're doing things you don't normally do, and you got the oven turned up really high because you're trying to get that turkey cooked, and it's not cooked, and everybody's like, man, we're hungry, where's that turkey? And you're like, I started late, I woke up late and I didn't get in the oven in time, and so it's 2:00, man. Get that thing done.
Or you try, you know what, I've never done creme brulee before. Let's light that baby up. It's
let's get the torch out.
Let's get the torch out, the flamethrower, and everybody
put
on your goggles. Yeah, this stuff happens, folks. Go ahead, Brent. What else should we do?
I think you're supposed to use a kitchen torch for that, not the torch from the garage, Dad. Oh, it'll work.
Get the welding tool's the best torch for the cream.
Click. Don't use anything.
All our farm and ranch guys out there know what we're talking about. The farm and ranch guys are out there going, click, click, click. No, don't do it.
I think the biggest problem, and we have this here, I accuse my wife of it, we have kind of a running joke about starting something on the stovetop and then walking away. She'll get a business phone call, walk away, and I'll come in there, pan smoking, and I'm like, well, I guess that's done. Like, really done.
You've been watching the cooking shows.
I used to tease her when we first got married. I would say, hey, I know when dinner's ready when the smoke detector goes off. She did not appreciate that, by the way.
Oh, she is such a patient woman anyway. So that brings so something that gets out of control, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that you need to have some sort of fire suppression device in the kitchen.
Yes, under the sink, very handy.
Exactly. And if you're going to
show everyone where it is.
That's a good point, because trying to find it when the fires happen is going to be a little difficult. get the ones that actually put out the fire and don't spread the fire. So you need to work with a professional or go to your home improvement store. Tell them what you're looking with. If it's because if you've got oils and you've got water, there's certain devices that work better than others. And then by God, learn how to use it.
Yeah, try
Um,
it out in the backyard. I mean, I'm not kidding.
uh,
Those things don't spray like you think they're gonna, and when you're in
They
a
don't. You can
panic and you
empty
got
a
a
fire
fire.
extinguisher. Yeah, you can empty it on a fire and you can miss the fire. That's
Absolutely.
happened a lot of times. So you're in their kitchen. You need to be careful with the heat. You need to check everything. Don't leave everything unattended, Brent said. And by God, have
Exactly.
something in place to put that fire out and maybe have a reservation somewhere just in case.
And a backup reservation at
Just in
Luby's.
case. Luby's.
Oh, hell, everybody get in the car. We're going to Luby's.
Oh, I know. But, even though we're talking about fire, I'm just going to tell you how the kitchen stuff, some of the most damaging, kind of the worst thing that could happen, other than a fire, is smoke.
Absolutely.
Smoke will, as you will all know, will go all through your house, will get on the walls, get in the ventilation system. So just paying attention and trying some things, but having some devices in the kitchen, I think is a great idea, Brent. Um,
You know, we
let's
had a
go.
total loss on a homeowner's that the
Oh,
fire never got to the home. The fire was all in the garage, but the smoke came through the little breezeway that
right.
connected the house and the garage, and the smoke literally melted everything in the house and ruined all the paintings and clothing and furniture. Just the heat of the smoke. And the fireman told me, because I was asking him, I was like, I was in there after the fire, and the firemen were there, and he was like, "Man, this smoke is like, I think it's at 2,000 degrees or something." He goes, "It's
Oh,
more
my.
dangerous in some ways than the fire itself because it's so hot and it swarms down the walls." And he was showing me kind of how it had come through and come through the air conditioning vents. It was crazy. So yeah, smoke can be devastating.
Yeah, it can be devastating, just as expensive as a claim. Let's talk about some general electric things. Let's talk about
Ooh,
some walls. Let's talk about computers.
man, I'll tell you, we had a friend of a friend had a tragic loss. Her husband died in a house fire where they had a laptop going. They were using a laptop and they went to bed and they closed up the laptop, but the little power brick that powered the laptop got hot and it was sitting on
Oof.
top of the ottoman that they'd been sitting on that chair. And I think maybe had a blanket over it or something. And that thing got hot, caught on fire, and the husband died of smoke inhalation. It was terrible. It was a terrible tragedy.
Oh,
But man, those
my
little
God.
wall warts and those power bricks, those things get extremely hot, and you've got to really pay attention to them and unplug them when you're not charging. Don't I see people, and I've done it myself a few times, where you leave that thing plugged in, you unplug the laptop and walk away or go to work, and that thing's still plugged in, not charging anything. Well, it's going to get hot, and those things
I
are
guarantee you, I've
dangerous.
got that at the house right now with my Surface. I'm doing it right now. It's
And
so
people
easy to forget.
also, yeah, they'll plug a wall wart into, like, a device and then push the couch up against it. Those things will get
Yeah,
hot and catch on fire. You just gotta be thoughtful about electrical stuff, extension cords, holiday lighting, just be careful, that
yeah.
stuff can
And
get
one of the
hot.
simplest things you can do is you just use this, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're plugging in something or you had something plugged in, feel the cord. If the cord's warm, you may have an issue. I always now have gotten into with light switches and plugs. If I'm messing with them, I do now just because I kind of had a near miss on this where we almost had a problem. I'll always just occasionally feel like if I have the lights on, I'll feel over the switches, feel if there's any heat or around a plug. Now I don't go around the house, like a mime. Not asking to be crazy about it because you have to have a life. But I'm just going to tell you on the certain places where there can be a problem or you're using it, it's some simple things that if you just pay attention, sometimes you're flipping a switch, you go, "Oh, man, that just felt a little warm." Or I unplugged the vacuum cleaner and that cord feels unusually hot. Those are some symptoms for you that you might need to just get a licensed professional done. And when these aren't expensive things,
Yeah,
come out there
that's
and
a stop
have them.
sign, don't drive through it. If you feel
Yeah.
something hot or, like you
Oh,
said, that
yeah.
cord's hot on it, there's
You
something wrong, you
smell
need to check it
smoke,
out.
you smell that plastic. Trust yourself, have somebody out. They can might even need to, if the house is older here in Lubbock, we have some older homes, we have some homes that were built. Have 'em just occasionally check the electrical panel. They can do some simple things on that to catch a major problem. It's not gonna cost you a ton of money either.
A lot of times, people get mad when an insurance company wants to know about updates to your home, and the
Good
roof
point.
is always what we talk about roofs all the time, but really they also wanna know about plumbing and electrical updates, specifically electrical, because if you haven't had an electrician out to your house in 20 years and your breakers are old and maybe you've got too many things plugged into a circuit, those guys, I know they're electricians are not cheap. But man, it can be a lifesaver to have a guy come out and periodically, once every 4 or 5 years, kinda give it a once over, check your breakers.
Right,
Um, those guys know how to pop them and tell if they're need of replacement, and
right.
you might need to put a new circuit in for a particular device. I mean, just those kind of easy things to prevent tragedy, because electrical fires are bad,
Well, they're
and,
deadly. You know that the
they're
roof may
deadly.
get hailed on and you're gonna be okay. But this sort of stuff, like you said, with
Yeah,
either smoke, launching carbon monoxide, or the fire itself, these are things that will kill you. Or or you'll get electrocuted, whether it starts a fire or not. I mean, these are things you need to do to protect life.
right.
Um, Brent and I are always more concerned about protecting lives than things. It's always more important. And fire
Yeah, stuff
safety,
can be replaced.
yeah. We're not even going to talk about your homeowner's policy today because that's insurmountable. This is the thing that protects people's lives and all those things like that. So I think those are great. Now, if I moved outside, Brent, you're going to see what my you'll see my grill underneath the porch. I swear to God, I'm not cooking with
I
it with it under there.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, but
I've
if we're
only got one
outside,
little covered area, and it's under the
ah,
porch. I'm
it's under
like,
the
my wife.
porch.
But that you're asking for it. I mean, that thing can flame up, or, if you don't keep your grill clean, if it gets a grease builds up in the bottom, cook too many briskets and you got a bunch of grease in there, that
Yeah.
thing could catch on fire.
Well,
And
and,
if
and,
you're
and up
inside
here,
watching a football game when that happens, you could have a problem really
right, and
quick.
in West Texas, we of course probably down in Houston too. A lot of people in the holidays, especially, are going to do some smoking. They're going to have some long term grilling things out there. Like you said, you got to clean those grills, keep them clean. If you're using something like the Traeger or the electric, the little green egg, make sure that cord's not hot. Open those lids very slowly. In
Yes.
case something has caught fire, not just to protect your body, of course, number one, but spraying of grease and everything can get on a structure and light up a fire before you even know it. And I would also say a lot of these guys with trailers who are cooking, with mesquite wood and things off to the side, check. You got to watch for ambers. You got to watch the wind blowing. You got to
And
pay
they need fire
attention.
extinguisher too, and everybody
Oh,
needs to know where it is, because man, when that grease catches on fire, brother, you got a problem.
that's right.
And
And
putting it out is probably call the fireman at that point. And don't
right.
wait. Like, if you feel like you're trying to put this fire out and it's not working, call 911.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Because if that fire gets away from you, brother, there's nothing you can do. You're gonna
No. And
lose it
with what
all.
with and if it's a grease fire with water, it can get worse.
Yeah, it can
And so
spread.
yeah. And so you can, some of this stuff, Brent, I figured out, and I sent you this stuff too. But a homeowner, if you're doing these things, you have a lot of free resources. You got a lot of free resources at your hand. Call your agent or whoever's insurance company you're with on your homeowners. You can go to wheretheyaare.com, and most of them have, home safety things. People just don't take advantage, I don't think, as much as this because they're worried about premiums or worried about this.
Right.
But you're paying for a lot of free resources. Also, another great resource is your local fire department's website.
Yes.
If you're in Lubbock, you have the Lubbock Fire Department, and then we have the fire marshal's office, which had a whole page all on this sort of stuff about fire safety and carbon monoxide, which can result from it as well. I saw Brent, you always say you're in Bel Air,
Yep.
Houston, whatever. I did research. Everybody's got this. So you're paying taxes for this. You've got professionals. You can call the fire marshal's office, ask them questions. That's what they're here for.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
some
very
great
responsive in
it's
a
great
smaller town
resources.
especially. Now, city Houston, they don't have time, but if you live in
No,
a
no,
small
just tell you
town,
that
they're
you're in
gonna
Bel Air.
yeah. Well, they'll help you. I mean, they really will. Those guys are, and they're interested. They don't want to see fires in their town. I mean, they want to
No.
prevent things too. They're very much about prevention. So yeah, give them a ring and look at their website and um, your carrier, your homeowner's insurance carrier has a lot of information on their website about fire prevention. And another thing, and I think we're going to get to this in a second, is keeping your place kind of cleaned up. Don't let a bunch of clutter build
Oh, yeah.
up, and that it is, it keeps the firemen from being able to fight the fire if they come out there and they can't even get down one side of your house because you got a bunch of firewood and junk piled up over there. It's just not good. So you got to keep a little maintenance going. Um, you know,
Well, yeah, there's a lot of the state of Texas that has a tremendous wildfire exposures, and a lot of time we think those are the folks who are living out in the country, and that's true on the farm and ranches. But these things can start outside the city. They can move inside the city, and what catches them moving is what Brent was talking about. Is if there's clutter around the house, anything that's flammable, high grass, alleys are number one around here for not keeping them mowed and keeping everything protected. Wildfire can enter into a city and do a major, major
oh
damage.
yeah,
Uh,
once that thing
and
catches fire and really gets legs under it, boy, they're hard to stop.
they're hard to stop. And up here where we have wind, we always have wind. It just we not in the cities think we're a little bit more protected. You're really not because it can get in on the fringes and cause a mess. But now that we're talking about this, for the time this video is being, we're here in November. We're approaching Thanksgiving and Christmas, which I mean that's going to mean decorations, right? What do you think we should look
Yep.
for being careful with our Christmas decorations?
Man, I'll tell you, I think a lot of people have old Christmas lights that they want to reuse, and you really need to think about getting some new ones. They're not expensive. New LED lights are not expensive and they don't get hot like those older incandescents do. And some of those old if they're in a box and your parents had them and oh, I love them because I got all the colors. I love the big bulbs. Yeah, those big bulbs catch on fire.
Yeah, I like them
Uh,
though.
I know, they're cool, but you can
They
get
make me feel like
LED
a
bulbs
child.
like that.
I feel like a
Eh,
baby when I look at them.
I know, but you can get new LEDs that don't get hot, and
I
so,
know.
they're not expensive, and, those are the kinds of things, and extension cords, you gotta watch the extension cords. I see it like my neighbor last year, he had like 14 extension cords going out to these are bigger lots over here, and
It's
he
Clark
didn't reach
Griswold.
it yet. Yeah, and I was like, "Dude," yeah, I said something to him, I was like, "Hey, Griswold, the extension cords, what's up?" He's
I
like,
love it.
"What are you, a fire marshal?" I'm like, "Hey,
But we all do it because if you put lights up, I don't put any on the house. I put them, but there's a point where you get tired and you're like, I got to get this done. And
oh,
that's
absolutely,
when you get what I call creatively stupid
and
because
tired."
the sun starts going down, you're tired, it's starting to get cold, and your
Right.
will to care starts dropping.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's always when we make the decisions that are the ones that we probably shouldn't make. It's
Yeah,
just I'm just going
yeah.
to get it done. That
I'm just gonna
usually
get it done.
means a problem at the Shropshire house. I can just tell you from experience, but yeah. But you got the lights, and then of course, God, everybody wants to light fire in the house, right? I mean, it's Christmas time,
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
man.
We got to have candles, and there's so many great fake candles out there now, and all this. But I, how many fires are started by candles left unattended? And we've learned this as children. We've been told this a million times, but there's not a holiday that goes by where some homes just don't go up in flames because of the damn candles.
Man, I'll tell you, my wife loves candles and they're beautiful and they smell good, but dang, they are so dangerous because you kind of forget it's there. And if a thing burns down to a certain point, it's going to catch. I mean, it's just dangerous. And I think you've got to really be cognizant if you're going to light one, don't light it in a bedroom and leave it unattended. I mean, you've got to be
Yeah,
careful of those things. We've had a lot of pretty significant losses um, from candles. I mean,
it's
it's a
true.
problem. And I think that, like you said, there's beautiful electric candles. And I know it's kind of a bummer because they don't have the ambiance and the smell and all those things that you're looking for there, but doggone, those things are dangerous, man.
No, and for people that's going to church services, talk to your
Oh,
church. about all the candles that they're using. I'm not asking you to be the fuddy-duddy of the Christmas holiday, but man alive, you cannot once it starts, it's a problem, and you can get those little warmers now that you can put the candle on. They work, they're not as flammable, but you still wanna make sure you look, turn everything off and blow everything out when you're gonna leave the house. Like
Please
that
don't leave
Christmas
those
tree.
candles going.
Yeah, but don't leave the Christmas tree on
Yeah.
all night. Don't leave it when you're leaving the house. I know you want your neighbors to see it when they drive by, but if you're leaving, turn it off. Um,
You know what's a cool thing to do with your Christmas tree? They make these cords to plug in your tree that have a button you can step on to turn it off.
yeah,
And instead of having to go climbing back behind the packages and pull the cord, you can have this thing around the front and you can just step on it. It turns the tree off. That's a key issue right there that'll help you just go, hey, go step on that tree light
that's right.
and turn it off, like you said, because man, you don't want to come on.
No,
It's
and when
just
you
not
have kids, some adult has to be the one that says, before we go tonight, before we go to bed, whatever, I'm walking the house. And I know it sounds
yeah.
stupid, but you blow out candles, turn off the lights, unplug the Christmas tree, or step on your button. You're going to find that if you spend the time that we talked about today, just doing the little things, thinking a little bit ahead, paying a little bit of attention to where you don't get wrapped up, but you can still have a great time and do everything you want to do, you're going to find your propensity of having a significant fire event will drop, and that's definitely what the risk raters want. You may
Yep.
have an insurance policy, but we don't want you using that, and we don't want
Right.
anybody, of course, getting hurt. So we hope that
Yeah.
today's podcast, gives you some
Free and
reminders.
easy
Free and
risk
easy,
management
baby.
tips.
That's what we
Free
do
and
here at
easy
Risk
risk
Raters.
management tips. Just take a minute, check it out. I know you're gonna decorate, your home's gonna be beautiful, but just be careful. Watch the
Be
electrical
careful.
stuff.
Be careful and have a very happy Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I,
I guess it's time to talk about college football. I know we've already dipped our toe into it, but I'm coming up there for the BYU game. Man,
no,
I'm
it's gonna be
feeling a lot
fun.
of pressure because they're good, and now we're 8-1, and everybody's looking at us, and they're talking about us
We're
being in
having
the
game
college
day.
football playoff. Yeah, we game days coming up there. That's
And that was
amazing.
the last time you were here was game day.
Well, I've been there since then, but the last kind of big game I came up was when you and your dad invited us up for the Texas game. I
Oh, yeah,
think
that
that
was so
was
much fun.
2003 when Crabtree
I
made
don't know.
the catch, as I like to call it, and
The catch.
finished off the Horned People that day. It was a great game. It was an amazing game, amazing day in Lubbock. Everybody rushed the field. Actually, they rushed the field 4 times. A lot of people don't know that. Unless you were there, you didn't really realize all that was going on. We thought we'd won. They rushed the field, and then the referee's like, "No, it's game's not over," and everybody had to go back in the stands. It was
Um,
hilarious. I mean, it was one of the funnest things I've ever done in my life. And I've got a picture that I'm going to put up one time of that my son took of all of us in the box where we were sitting. The elation after we realized we had actually won the game was just so obvious on
the
everyone's
belief.
face. Everybody's just like, second comings, like we won. And it was, and I'm hoping we're going to have that kind of experience now. And I'm looking forward to walking around. Are they going to be out on a quad, or are they going to be out in Raider Alley,
I
the
think
game day crew?
the game day is gonna be on the west side of the stadium where the, Coliseum that's at least the last thing I read. They're either gonna be on the
Okay.
west side where the Coliseum was. I think that's where they're gonna put it, where you have the stadium behind you. Because if they're on the quad, you can't see the stadium, but I don't know.
Oh,
We're gonna
okay.
go out. It's an 11 o'clock game. We're gonna go really early.
Yeah,
And
we're
we'll
gonna have to
probably
go out
drive
there like at
around
8 o'clock in the
tomorrow,
morning.
and we're gonna go, scout it out and maybe even walk the campus a little bit tomorrow to get a feel because we got some kids camping out. That's a lot of fun, but, I
I
hope
heard they've been
everybody
camping out all week.
camping out all week. We may take some pizzas up there or some Risk Raider pizzas, feed some of the babies.
We've got our new hats. We don't have enough of
We
them.
got
We've got
hats, and I
hats
don't have them
now.
on because, I
I
gotta
wish I
stay in the
had it.
wardrobe routine here. I gotta look
Yeah,
professional,
you gotta
but
say, I look professional. Yeah,
yeah, we gotta keep our
yeah,
viewers
yeah,
happy. Listen, we are so glad that you, stayed and watched this podcast of fire safety. We hope you and your family keep it safe. Have a great weekend, Brent. I'm going to see you tomorrow, and everybody have a fantastic
yeah.
day.
And like you said, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate everybody taking a few minutes to look at it, and we will see you all soon. And I will see you tomorrow. Guns
Wreck
up,
'em.
brother.
See you tomorrow.